Continuing from the previous episode 1580. What's this? What's the situation? In an instant, as the shadow disappeared, and the place was quiet, Xiaoyan also asked in a trance. This Acacia spirit was surprised at the double holy flames in his body at first, but then he became so good at communicating. This is the best communication spirit that Xiaoyan has encountered since ancient times. The Acacia tree has survived the eternal life, naturally it has its consciousness of life, and the woman just now is probably the guardian of the Acacia tree, and I guess, the reason why she is like this. I am afraid there is something that needs your help, after all, this Acacia for her. I am afraid that the tree can only go in but not go out. As for the third treasure of the Acacia tree in her mouth, I'm afraid it has something to do with Acacia and broken enteritis. After Shunshi, the Soul Eater said lightly, and it was obvious that he had more or less guessed what happened along the way. What? Acacia bronchitis. Ying. Xiaoyan's heart couldn't help but become solemn after listening to Soul Eater's words. Obviously, no matter what, this time he had to get Acacia broken heart or get news about it. Forget it, the Acacia fruit is also a very precious treasure in the Acacia tree, but even I have never seen this kind of thing, so this time, I can only rely on you. The Lord of Soul Eater Zaidu said, obviously also I don't want to disturb Xiaoyan. Hearing this, Xiaoyan nodded lightly, then adjusted the aura in his body and stood quietly on the pink roots of the Acacia tree. Acacia tree, Acacia heartbroken inflammation, is it really that magical? Seeing Xiaoyan's actions, the Soul Eater shook his head helplessly, and immediately hibernated quietly in Xiaoyan's body. According to the Guardian's words, the Acacia fruit should exist in the Acacia lake, but I don't know how to make the Acacia fruit appear. Xiaoyan muttered slightly. Spiritual palace. In an instant, after some conditioning, Xiaoyan's dazzling soul power tilted towards the Acacia tree in front of him like a tide, trying to force out the Acacia fruit with the tyrannical power of his soul. The Acacia fruit should stand in the Acacia tree, but how to force it out is an extremely important issue. Soul strength is useless? After struggling, Xiaoyan wondered when he found that the Acacia tree had not changed. Try your spiritual power. After a while, the soul power stopped abruptly and was replaced by a touch of dazzling spiritual power, hitting the Acacia tree in Zaidu. In this way, it is still deadly quiet, without any changes. This soul power and spiritual power were useless. Xiaoyan barely opened his eyes, and touched the roots of the Acacia tree with his palm. A trace of unwillingness emerged in his heart. Duhe, flame do qi. After the breath, a dazzling fiery red do qi emerged from Xiaoyan's body, covering the entire valley directly. Even if Xiaoyan acted like this, the Acacia tree was still immobile. I can't believe I can't cure you. The power of double flames, burn me. At that time, two kinds of holy flames emerged directly, filling the entire valley. The valley at this time was tantamount to a sea of fire. Shabu. Being burned by Xiaoyan's double holy flames, the Acacia tree suddenly moved, but the movement was like a self-defense. Ying, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, with all his efforts, the Acacia tree was left indifferent. Xiaoyan clenched his fist and hit the roots of the Acacia tree heavily, a touch of self-blame welling up in his heart. In Zan San, he couldn't look directly at Mu Yingying's love in his heart, and even his own strength was too weak, which led to the sacrifice of Mu Yingying, which has been pressing on Xiaoyan's heart. Now that I have finally encountered the Acacia tree, there is such a glimmer of hope to save Mu Yingying, but why can't I find the way to solve it? Hey, the emotions and desires are the most hurtful. At this time, the Master of Soul Eater was not easy to speak, so he could only shake his head secretly. Wang buzzing, aware of Xiaoyan's sudden self-defeating, a dazzling azure blue flame burst out from the heart of Shengyan at the chest, slowly clinging to Xiaoyan's body, as if trying his best to comfort Xiaoyan. Tick. Being taken care of by the gentle power of the azure blue flame, a drop of tears lightly dripped out of the corner of Xiaoyan's eyes, and immediately fell under the roots of the pink acacia tree. A moment later, a strange thing happened. Zhu! Following Xiaoyan's actions, the countless pink light spots in the valley easily converged towards the place where the tears fell under Xiaoyan's feet. Even at this moment, the entire acacia tree burst out with an extremely comfortable feeling. Emotions, the dazzling power of lovesickness whizzed away at Xiaoyan's feet at the same time. Boom! This is. After Shunshi, countless portals in the entire valley roared out in an instant, converging at a certain point. 2 acacias? In an instant, the self-blame in Xiaoyan's heart slowly disappeared, and a shock appeared in his heart. What caught my eye were 2 crystal fruits the size of a palm. The whole body of the fruits was pink, and the pink halo flickered like a spar. The whole fruit was beating violently like a heart. The most important thing was these 2. Above the fruit, a strong acacia power emerges. What's more, the power contained in these 2 acacia fruits is probably no lower than the Douxian Dan. If you swallow it, you may be able to get a lot of power. Yingying, thank you. At this moment, Xiaoyan's mind calmed down, and then Xiaoyan's palm slowly held his chest, and said sincerely, he knew that without Mu Yingying's help this time, I'm afraid the acacia tree the trip is a life and 9 death. Mu Yingying is quite a playful girl, but Xiaoyan can feel her love and care all the time. Let's do it. If you devour all the 2 acacia fruits, with the Douxian Dan in your hand, I'm afraid it will be enough to break through the middle stage of the 4-star Douxian. At that time, your strength will also be in this Earth Spirit Academy. The Lord of Souls also spoke up, but at the end of the conversation, it stopped suddenly. Forget it. Leave one for her. Xiaoyan blurted out without any hesitation. 2 acacia fruits, so I can improve my strength a lot, but the resoluteness and determination of the scene when Mu Yingying sacrificed can't be dissipated for a long time in my heart, and now I still haven't found acacia broken enteritis, leaving an acacia as a result. Reviving Mu Yingying in the future will also be able to provide more protection. What a sentimental boy. But throughout the ages, sentimental guys, if they are not trash, are the most powerful people in the world. Like the demon emperor of the demon world, with the strength of one person, he fought alone against the powerhouses of the 3 realms to gain an invincible position. Unfortunately, in the end, his lover was also Shang Xiaoyushuang. Because of his love, he was ambushed by the supreme being of the 3 realms, and thus was completely sealed and suppressed. The Soul Eater shook his head. Continuing from the previous episode 1581. Quote. In front of the roots of the acacia tree in the valley, 2 acacia fruits stood quietly, but at this time, Xiaoyan had many memories of when he was with Mu Yingying in his mind. The power of pink acacia keeps emerging. In this situation, the Master of Soul Eater did not rashly disturb Xiaoyan. After all, the Master of Soul Eater was more or less remorseful for Mu Yingying's sacrifice, and whether Xiaoyan would be revived after Mu Yingying was resurrected will give her a name, and the Lord of Soul Eater is not easy to intervene. Teacher, I'm about to start swallowing the acacia fruit. The silence lasted for several hours, and Xiaoyan's pupils slowly opened and said, Well, let's start. Acacia fruit is a wonder of heaven and earth that gathers the power of acacia in the acacia tree. It is also a matter of course to swallow it in cooperation with the Douxian pill and break through the 4-star Douxian. During this period, I will protect the law for you. The Lord of Soul Eater said flatly. Thank you, teacher. This time, Xiaoyan said sincerely. The word, teacher, is easy to say, but Xiaoyan can say it willingly, which is enough to show its importance to Xiaoyan. After all, when he was in Douqi continent, Xiaoyan encountered many seniors who gave advice. From the beginning to the end, only Yao Lao was the only one who could see the arrogance in Xiaoyan's heart. Let's start. After a short pause, he temporarily suppressed the pain of lovesickness in his body, and immediately adjusted his breath to restore the best state. Xiaoyan couldn't help but said, Is this the legendary acacia fruit? It is said that the acacia liquid in the acacia tree has mysterious and unpredictable effects, and that effect is to control people's hearts, and this acacia fruit is more precious than the acacia liquid, but I don't know which is stronger or weaker than the acacia liquid. Xiaoyan said to himself. As soon as the words fell, Xiaoyan's ring was squirming gently, and a beautiful jade bottle with high quality slowly appeared. And this container is the Emperor Flame Ring, that he inherited from the hands of Tuosh Gudi teacher, but with Xiaoyan's strength when he first got the 3-star fighting emperor, to the current 3-star fighting immortal, no matter how many breakthroughs he has made level, this ring still has no useful value and information, which is not right with the information left by the last trace of the soul power of the ancient Emperor Tuosh, but Xiaoyan at this time is too lazy to think about these things. Acacia fruit. After a while, on Xiaoyan's body, The khaki-colored fire-heart heavenly rock covered the palm of his hand, and lightly probed towards one of the 2 acacia fruits in front of him. Xiao Yan knew that facing this wonder of heaven and earth, but don't take it lightly. The acacia fruit, the size of a palm, with clear crystals, but with Xiao Yan's actions, the surface of the acacia fruit instantly turned into a blood-red color, as scarlet as human blood. Come back. Seeing this, Xiao Yan frowned, as if he had discovered something. He immediately increased his efforts and tried to put the acacia fruit into the container. Zhu! After Shun Qi, acacia fruit burst out with an extremely dazzling resistance force, struggling to resist Xiao Yan's subjugation. The power of lovesickness. After a few breaths, Xiao Yan also gave up the reckless fight. The peculiar lovesickness power he had just generated because of his thoughts suddenly poured into the palm of his hand and probed towards the lovesickness fruit. It was like something in a bag. It was easily retrieved into the container by Xiao Yan. Wang Om! An acacia fruit was retrieved and placed in the container. Xiao Yan added a layer of acacia power and holy flame to protect it before carefully taking it back into the collection ring. It was left for Mu Yingying. Next is a crucial step. Acacia fruit, whether it can break through the late Samsung Douxian, depends on you. In this Li Soul realm, where the most powerful people gather, I need strength. I need strength to investigate the life experience of Xiao Gui's parents. I need strength to solve the damaged soul origin of the master. When the trip to the ghost world is over, it will be the final stage. Zuner, the family, wait for me, Xiao Yan said in a deep voice. Endure hardship, Xiao Yan is not afraid. Xiao Yan is not afraid of going up the mountain of swords and going down to the sea of fire. But what Xiao Yan is afraid of is that he has put in great efforts, but he has achieved nothing, and it is similar to Zan Santian's feeling of powerlessness. Xiao Yan does not want to experience it a second time. Today's Xiao Yan in the late stage of the 3-star fighting immortal, with all his cards, he can fight against the late stage 4-star fighting immortal powerhouse. Ling Yu, the genius of the underground courtyard, also has the power to fight. Moreover, Xiao Yan also knew that Ling Yu was the culprit who forced Luo Menglan's marriage. In addition to Xiao Gui's love for Luo Menglan, the battle between them was probably inevitable. Come on. Scenes of plans were quickly revolving in his mind, and Xiao Yan's palm wriggled gently, with the dazzling power of love, eroding away directly at the acacia fruit. Boom! The acacia fruit was originally the product of the acacia tree, so it was eroded by Xiao Yan's dazzling power of acacia. The palm-sized fruit suddenly cracked a very weak gap, and a pool of pink crystal silver and antimony was transparent. The color liquid slowly flows out from the inside of the acacia fruit wing buzzing. In an instant, Xiao Yan's Do Qi Sea Fire attribute Do Core and Wood attribute Do Core burst out with extremely greedy fluctuations at the same time. What a strong power! With the excellent soul power, he was able to discover the extremely terrifying energy in this lovesickness fruit. This kind of power is natural, even purer than the artificially extracted soul source. The fastest update of Qiqi novel. This kind of energy comes from the acacia tree, but after thousands of years of accumulation and tempering, the energy in the acacia fruit has been purified to the extreme, and it is a good supplement. Since that's the case, then I'm welcome. After a while, Xiao Yan also closed his eyes and rested his mind, controlling the innermost Fenju in his body. In conjunction with the 2 bucket cores, the dazzling suction force suddenly emerged and quickly emerged. Absorbs the pure power flowing from the acacia fruit in front of him. Don't underestimate this acacia fruit, although the fruit is only the size of a palm, but the energy contained in it, I'm afraid that Xiao Yan can't absorb it in 10 days and a half months, and such a dazzling pure power is enough. Xiao Yan has benefited a lot. This guy has 2 bucket cores, and the holy flame space, plus the special power of lovesickness on top of the current lovesickness fruit. I hope this time, I can completely condense the prototype of the field, or for the future half the realm and the real realm lay the groundwork. The Soul Eater murmured slowly. However, when it comes to the domain, this Soul Eater Lord can't help but feel a little proud. After all, he used the strength of the 8-star fighting immortal, cooperated with the Soul Eater talisman and the Soul Eater domain, and resisted the evil spirits outside the territory. The king who entered the reincarnation is invincible, and this glory and illustrious reputation, I am afraid that there are not many people in the thousands of worlds. Zheng Xin Lu Mao Qi Qi Novel Wang, WW. Continuing from the previous episode 1582. Time passes minute by minute, and the inner space of the acacia tree is not much different from the outside world. A day outside is also a day here, but it is a pink void all day long, and it is difficult to distinguish the passage of time. Boom! Xiao Yan's absorption was the past few months. During these times, Xiao Yan sat cross-legged at the root of the acacia tree, constantly urging Fenju to control the two buckets. The nucleus absorbs the huge energy in the acacia fruit. The cultivation of Emperor Dou is the power of life and death, and after Douxian, the force of life and death is condensed into the force of Douxian, and the force of Douxian is condensed and contracted in the core of Douxian, which is divided into attributes. It's just that the training in Douxian is to cultivate Douxian. Generally, a normal person's Douxian touches a core with a size of tens of meters. Only by constantly compressing it into the size of a grain of sand, one can step into the peak of Douxian. Approaching reincarnation. After the 8-star fighting immortals, it is the realm of reincarnation, and reincarnation is divided into 9 levels of reincarnation. After the 9th level, it is the god's residence, but the so-called gods are also illusory existences in the entire world of the Great Thousand World. No one knows at all. In the Great Thousand World, whether there is a god's existence, but that level of existence, I am afraid that the destruction of the mere planes, I am afraid that it is only a matter of turning over the rain. Zhu. After a short while, Xiao Yan's fighting chi had already turned into a group of light and the beast of flames was shrinking and sleeping, but the light group emitted a greedy aura, continuously absorbing the power of the acacia fruit, and seemed to be the same as Xiao Yan. Grab energy in general. This. One day, when he noticed this funny scene, Xiao Yan couldn't help but want to curse. The origin of this fiery beast is unknown, and it is said to be the king of all beasts, but the previous time it fell into a deep sleep, and this time it actually grabbed food directly in front of him, which made Xiao Yan look rather ugly. 2 fighting cores, 1 fiery red, 1 cyan, and 2 fighting immortals with fire attributes and wood attributes are still round cores of tens of meters in size, but with the absorption of a lot of acacia fruit the energy has undergone some subtle changes. Boom! After the breath, Xiao Yan controlled the power in the acacia fruit, and scattered 1/10 of the light group towards the king of beasts, but don't underestimate this 1/10 of the energy. This kind of energy is comparable to some magical medicines of the 4th grade immortal rank. I hope next time you show up, you can help, otherwise you will eat so many resources in vain, but some of them can't be justified. As the king of beasts Guang Tuan absorbed a lot of the power of acacia fruit, it suddenly dimmed, but Xiao Yan found that the king of beasts inside this light group seemed to be undergoing a very wonderful transformation. The power of this lovesickness fruit is really majestic. It took so long to absorb it, and there is still some left over. After the breath, Xiao Yan found that the 2 bucket cores in his body were nearly saturated, and he shook his head immediately. Boom! In an instant, there was still a quarter of the energy in the acacia fruit that had not been absorbed, and at the same time, Xiao Yan's core was saturated, and the energy that had nowhere to put suddenly became restless, faintly faint. About Xiao Yan's body whizzed away. It's not good. If this goes on, it's going to explode. Xiao Yan was shocked when he saw this. He originally thought that his 2 fighting cores would naturally be able to absorb most of the power in the acacia fruit, but in this acacia fruit, although the energy of Xiao Yan is pure, it contains a peculiar power of lovesickness, so when the remaining 1/4 is left, Xiao Yan's body is full of saturated aura. Little guy, it's cheaper for you. After a while, Xiao Yan didn't hesitate, suddenly shouted, and suddenly a dazzling suction force emerged, directly irrigating the remaining power of the acacia fruit against the sea of fighting chi in the body. XUUU. Such dazzling energy has just emerged in the Dou Chi Sea, and the 2 Dou cores immediately descended from above, giving off an extremely vigilant aura. Bang bang bang. It seems that he knew Xiao Yan's intentions. A trace of energy emerged from the mysterious light group that enveloped the king of beasts, and then easily pulled the remaining acacia power to directly face the inside of the light group. And go! Wang buzzing. He was still aggressively trying to see the power of lovesickness bursting out of Xiao Yan's body, and he flew towards the sea of vindictiveness. Fatal. Boom. It's a pity that the king of beasts will not give the power of lovesickness a chance to escape. For him, these powers are the tonics of great nourishment. After a while, the mysterious rays of light just came, and all of a sudden, there was no trace of it. All the remaining Acacia power was directly irrigated into the light group that enveloped him. Crash! After a while, an irresistible, terrifying pressure suddenly emerged from the light group of the King of Beasts. Wait, this coercion? Demon Emperor? What does this little guy have to do with the Demon Emperor? Why do I feel the same aura as the Demon Emperor from this coercion? Suddenly, the Master of Soul Eater lost his voice. The overall strength of Soul Eater is not as tyrannical as the overlord of the demon world, the Demon Emperor, but he has the power to fight against the Demon Emperor, and he is familiar with the Demon Emperor, but now Xiao Yan's body, the king of all beasts, has the same aura as the Demon Emperor. Somewhat similar, which surprised Soul Eater. Forget it. Let me, this disciple, do these things myself in the future. After a while, the Soul Eater did not speak rashly, but chose to calm down. Hoo! In the late stage of Sanxing Douxian, give me a breakthrough. In the next moment, all the remaining power of lovesickness was solved, and Xiao Yan's pupils shrank tightly and indescribable terrifying energy suddenly came out of his body. Emerge! Boom! As Xiao Yan spoke, the entire pink space suddenly became restless, and even the two bucket cores in Xiao Yan's body were spinning at high speed. The power spread out and immediately gathered towards Xiao Yan's limbs and bones, and this moisturizing even made Xiao Yan's body strength even higher. Bang bang bang! A muffled thunder sound suddenly emerged from Xiao Yan's heart, and Xiao Yan's breath suddenly increased slowly. Finally, the three-star battle of immortals is complete. Xiao Yan also smiled gratified when he noticed this scene. However, Xiao Yan did not expect that the energy contained in this acacia fruit is actually so huge. This energy may not be inferior to the energy contained in the Fighting Immortal pill. Just to absorb the acacia fruit, we must use the power of acacia, otherwise the fruit is also no different from the normal fruit. With Xiao Yan's smooth breakthrough to the Samsung Douxian consummation, but Xiao Yan did not find out that the acacia power and some power contained in the acacia fruit slowly entered its holy flame space, and the holy flame space there are also some mutations that have slowly occurred, and this mutation is a fluctuation in the field. Continuing from the previous episode 1583, Senior Spirit of Acacia Tree asked me to use the power of Acacia to find her after absorbing the acacia. After Xiao Yan successfully broke through the late Samsung Douxian stage, he hesitated for a while. With some subtle changes in the power of acacia and soul, Xiao Yan could feel that there seemed to be something special in the acacia tree in front of him, but now it was a choice whether to find the spirit of the acacia tree first or to devour the fighting elixir. Forget it, the next time. Let's devour the immortal fighting pill first. After a while, Xiao Yan also made a decision. First swallow the Douxian pill to raise your power to the early stage of the 4-star Douxian, and then immediately go to find the spirit of the acacia tree to see what the so-called conditions are. After that, it is time for the end of the acacia tree, and the next moment is probably Zongxian. The door competes and enters the underground courtyard to find the Qidu Yinhun. With a plan in mind, without hesitation, a beautiful jade bottle slowly emerged between reaching out. In the jade bottle, a longan-sized medicinal pill slowly emerged, but on the edge of the jade bottle, a trace of dark red lines appeared quietly. Fighting the immortal pill, after all, the fighting immortal pill has extraordinary energy, even if the elixir's spiritual wisdom is obliterated, if you are not careful, it will probably be escaped by it. The elixir of the 5th grade immortal rank is really extraordinary. Xiao Yan spoke slowly, obviously he was quite enthusiastic about the elixir of the immortal fighting pill. Immortal rank 5th rank, the ability to refine this level of medicinal pills is at least 5-star fighting immortal strength, and now Xiao Yan's pharmacist rank is probably only barely reaching immortal rank 4th rank. Boom! Fighting immortal pill just appeared, and suddenly, with instinct, a circle of tyrannical energy ripples erupted from the jade bottle, trying to break through the shackles of the jade bottle and escape from here, but unfortunately, the dark red lines on the edge of the jade bottle it flickered slightly, suppressing it in an instant. It seems that the old man is also motivated by selfishness. Xiao Yan couldn't help laughing when he saw this Dou Xiandan being so tyrannical. On the surface, Di Lao gave both himself and Xiao Gui a fighting immortal pill at the same time, but the quality of the two of them was much worse. After all, the fighting immortal pill in Xiao Gui's hands was not so different. Yan's current scene. The fire is coming. After a while, Xiao Yan didn't hesitate. He had just swallowed the power of Acacia, and his body was fully absorbed, but the immortal fighting pill is an elixir that contains several precious medicinal materials, so it can neutralize the power of the acacia fruit, so that coupled with the original power of the fighting immortal pill, Xiao Yan can perfectly absorb the power of the acacia fruit and the power of the fighting immortal pill, and it will be an easy task to break through the 4-star fighting immortal. Boom! Xiao Yan's voice just fell, and circles of khaki flames suddenly emerged, instantly protecting Xiao Yan. Douxian, where do you run? Come here. With a cold snort, a bright voice suddenly sounded in this space. Hey! Immediately, when the Douxian wrapped in dark red lines heard the words, his body shuddered suddenly, and then a terrifying resistance burst out, trying to resist it away. It seemed to be clear that once Xiao Yan succeeded, I am afraid that it is time to fall. Bang bang bang. It's a pity that Xiao Yan didn't give it the chance at all. The tyrannical holy flame swept away directly, and instantly smashed its dark red jade bottle, and the fighting immortal pill was also destroyed by the holy flame. Bunch of packages. Wing Om! Without the suppression of the dark red lines, the immortal fighting pill was reborn, but it was too late to rejoice, and the dazzling holy flames roared away directly at it. This kind of fluctuations made him want to swallow the immortal fighting pill. An elixir that has lost its intellect and can only be moved by instinct. Bring it to me. Seeing this, Xiao Yan raised the corner of his mouth and smiled slowly. Go away and try to take the Douxian Dan into the palm of your hand. Boom! No matter how tyrannical the Douxian was, it was weakened by Xiao Yan's Shengen, and then attacked by Xiao Yan in such a way that he was directly held in his hand and unable to move. Bang bang bang! A muffled sound of thunder continued to sound in Xiao Yan's palm, apparently the struggle that erupted when Xiao Yan tried his best to refine the Douxian Dan. Quote. After a few breaths, the restlessness on Xiao Yan's palm also became quiet, and the Douxian pill was slowly melted and decomposed by Xiao Yan. Start absorbing, Xiao Yan just said comfortably after seeing the Douxian pill lose all its vitality. After all, this Douxian pill is of high rank, but it has no intelligence, so in Xiao Yan's hands, it will naturally not be able to make much waves. Hoo! Xiao Yan held the Douxian in his hand, and a wisp of pure energy flowed down the palm of his hand towards Xiao Yan's body and limbs, but this wisp of energy was different from the acacia fruit absorbed before, because the energy of this immortal fighting pill was not only tyrannical, but even neutralized the power of acacia that Xiao Yan had just absorbed. The two powers neutralized each other, and slowly strange changes occurred in Xiao Yan's body within the sacred flame space. And Xiao Yan, this sitting and practicing, is a year. For a year, Xiao Yan has been absorbing the immortal Dou pills continuously. Perhaps the previous breakthrough was too strong, or the residual acacia power of the acacia fruit was responsible, so it wasted a lot of time. One day, when above this pink void, a strange silver-black thundercloud suddenly diffused out, and Xiao Yan's immobile pupils slowly opened. The 4-star Douxian tribulation, is it finally here? After Shunshi Xiao Yan said in a very deep voice, but under this voice, there was a touch of different from the previous 3-star Douxian. Breath. 4-star fighting immortals. Xiao Yan's current strength has vaguely reached the level of a 4-star Douxian, but Xiao Yan knows that only by completely defeating Douxian's robbery can he be considered a successful breakthrough. Bang bang bang. Above the sky, the silver-black thunderbolt roared like a vicious dog, and faintly one after another silver-black thunderbolt fell down, directly hitting the roots of the acacia tree. Such a shocking scene. Xiao Yan was quite shocked, but for a creature like the acacia tree, which has survived for thousands of years, this kind of attack is insignificant. What a tyrannical power of thunder! Seeing this, Xiao Yan frowned. The soul clone in his body, Xiao Lei, was left to the second elder of the 10,000 fire sect guarding the crystal vein before Xiao Yan left. Otherwise, this level of thunder could be easily swallowed by Xiao Lei's power, but now there is no Xiao Lei. Lei, I am afraid that Xiao Yan needs to use some means. Hey! At the top of the pink void, the silver-black thunderclouds became more and more dazzling, revealing a very strong unease faintly. Xiao Yan didn't know the strength of the Dou immortal tribulation before, but now he knows that there is 1 Do immortal tribulation for 1 star, and 2 Do immortal tribulation for 2-star Do immortal tribulation, and so on. Now that Xiao Yan is trying to break through the 4-star Douxian, he has 4 Douxian tribulations. Continuing from the previous episode 1584. Continue to read the favorite URL next time. Boom! The silver-black thunder was as angry as the Holy Spirit descending, and the deafening sound of thunder seemed to swear Xiao Yan's ignorance, swear Xiao Yan's self-inflicted snares, and vent his pride and unstoppable anger. 4 battles of immortal robbery, let the horses come over. Seeing this, Xiao Yan's eyes became deep, and the first transformation of the dragon god was directly displayed, and his eyes watched vigilantly at the terrifying silver-black thundercloud directly above the void. Today's Xiao Yan, with his strength increasing by 2 small levels in a short period of time, suddenly performed the first change of the dragon god, and that level of improvement can be described as extremely huge. Today's Xiao Yan is only relying on the first change of the dragon god. The increase of change, I am afraid that it can be extremely easy to face the general 4-star fighting immortal mid-stage powerhouse. Zoo! With a sound, countless silver-black thunderclouds shook violently above the pink void, and a faint wave of extremely obscure thunder was suddenly born. This thunder wave is more powerful than any thunder Xiao Yan has encountered in the past when refining medicinal pills. Xiao Yan does not know the breakdown of the power of thunder, and I am afraid that this kind of thing can only be understood by the Supreme Person like the Thunder Lord, but Xiao Yan understands that every time the battle of immortals caused by breakthroughs in this battle of immortals, the power of thunder is completely different from before. Hoo! In an instant, the silver-black thundercloud above the void saw Xiao Yan's dazzling fighting spirit permeate his body. He roared and roared, turning into a thunderbolt, with an unstoppable momentum, facing the roots of the acacia tree. Xiao Yan, who was above the whiskers, blasted away. Boom! The power of the lightning formed by the silver-black thunder was shocking. Even if Xiao Yan had been prepared, he was shocked back several dozen meters before he stabilized his figure. The thunder of this first robbery is such a terrifying power. After receiving the first thunder robbery of the Douxian robbery, Xiao Yan said with a solemn expression, "The power of this silver-black thunderbolt is comparable to the gray thunderbolt on the Thunder Lord's body." But Xiao Yan knew that the gray thunderbolt on the Thunder Lord's body contained a deadly threat. Duo Qifei has mastered it, and once the Thunder Master is completely reincarnated, I am afraid that the gray thunder will become one of the most powerful thunders in this world. Gulu! The first thunderstorm was stopped by Xiao, and it didn't have much impact on Xiao Yan. Suddenly, countless silver-black thunderclouds above the void were rolling, and bright electric currents slowly flowed from the countless clouds. Out of the thundercloud. This is not the catastrophe of thunder, on the contrary, even there is a liquid similar to water, but the silver-black liquid is also filled with an extremely terrifying fluctuation. I am afraid that the power of thunder at this level will be seriously injured in an instant. 1 finger in the sky. 2 fingers. 3rd finger. In the face of such a tyrannical thunder calamity, Xiao Yan's whole body was surging, and with the help of Sheng Yan, he directly used the 3 fingers of the sky, and only barely resisted the second thunder calamity. Xiao Yan's body was also shaken by the strong force of the thunder, causing his fingers to shake violently. The 3rd robbery and the 4th robbery together? After resisting the 2 thunderstorms, Xiao Yan looked at the silver-black thunderclouds with serious eyes. At this moment, these thunderclouds have slowly gathered together. It seems that the 2 thunder tribulations just appeared at random. At this time, they realized Xiao Yan's strength, so they prepared for the 2 tribulations to come together. Now, it was the real highlight. "Come on," Xiao Yan said solemnly. Immediately, the dazzling soul power, spiritual power, and even holy flames formed 3 tyrannical light shields on the surface of his body, trying to weaken the power of a trace of thunder. Boom! Immediately, the countless dense thunderclouds shook violently, and then a struggling giant snake covered with thunder patterns suddenly emerged from the center of the thundercloud. This thunder snake just appeared, and the snake eyes stared at the small Xiao Yan below indifferently, as if he was swearing Xiao Yan's death. Thunder calamity of this level, I am afraid it has surpassed the category of the 4-star fighting immortal level. The strength of the thunder snake that thrives together in the 3rd and 4th robbery, I am afraid it has reached the level of the middle stage of the human 4-star fighting immortal. Xiao Yan seeing this, he stared intently at the ferocious thunder snake above the void, and said solemnly, "The immortal fighting tribulation is divided according to the strength of each person. The stronger the breakthrough is, the stronger the immortal fighting tribulation they have to face. However, after the breakthrough, the strength of the immortal fighting immortal within the body will be more dazzling and condensed, stronger than usual. It is undoubtedly a lot more tyrannical," the Soul Eater explained. "Come on then." Xiao Yan gritted his teeth and said directly. Boom! It seemed that he heard Xiao Yan's voice, and suddenly the ferocious thunder snake twisted its huge body full of thunder power, and shot at Xiao Yan with the momentum of thunder, because its speed was too fast. The inner space of the acacia tree emitted a trace of restless fluctuations. Boom! The ferocious thunder snake easily slammed into the 3 protective shields originally set up by Xiao Yan, and the protective shield formed by Sheng Yan suddenly shattered. The next moment, the special protective shield formed by spiritual power also disappeared. After a few breaths, the soul barrier formed by the most tyrannical soul force also disappeared cleanly, but Razor was intact as before. Bang bang bang! The 3 protective shields were easily broken, and without any obstruction, they attacked Xiao Yan, who was close at hand. Crash! At this moment, Xiao Yan was already sweating profusely, and he even used all his skills, but he was still defeated by this ferocious thunder snake. "I still don't believe I can't cure you." Purgatory Array. With a cold snort, this pink space was instantly filled with the molten world. Xiao Yan's pressure weakened a little, but the crisis was still not resolved. Good luck with a punch. Peas. Book friends, I am the author Lemon Chu Sha. Recently, due to the feedback from many readers that I can't find the entrance to reading, I now recommend a free novel app that supports novel downloads, listening to books, 0 ads, and multiple reading modes. You can almost find it for all the books on the internet. Please take half a minute to pay attention to the WeChat public account. Find Book Artifact, click the plus number in the upper right corner of WeChat to add friends to select public account to enter, search and add the official account, and then follow the prompts to operate. Book lovers, please pay attention. 2 punches. Break it to me. In an instant, Xiao Yan just clenched his fist. A strange pattern quietly emerged from one of them, and then roared away at the ferocious thunder snake in front of him. Weng Om! The ferocious thunder snake is extremely powerful, but being attacked by Xiao Yan like this, the thunder on his body also dimmed for a while. After all, the power of Xiao Yan's attack was also extraordinary. It's not broken? Seeing that he tried his best and failed to break the proof of Razor, Xiao Yan suddenly lost his voice. Then take me a blow. Woo! Wood Sky Vine? Xiao Yan laughed abruptly when he saw this scene. Immediately, the core of the wood attribute in his body slowly surged, and the hot flames all over his body were instantly replaced by the green wood attribute. At the same time, the purgatory formation quietly withdrew, and this space was completely replaced by a green aura. Shabu shabu. After a while, green vines with a size of several dozen meters suddenly appeared under the Razor's feet, and these vines just emerged, and immediately bound Razor with a very strong breath of life. Now, let's see if you die. The 3rd finger in the sky. With a cold snort, a green finger suddenly turned into a ray of dawn that was enough to frost the sky, and whizzed away at the thunder snake. Weng Om! Facing this moment, Thunder Snake felt the power of destruction, and immediately struggled desperately. Unfortunately, it was bound by Xiao Yan's special wood-type vines, and there was nothing he could do. Hey! With a sound, the green finger light easily pierced through the body of the Thunder Snake, and the Thunder Snake and the thundercloud above the void slowly disappeared. The Flame Emperor fighting against the Sky God. Remember the domain name in 1 second. I want to chat with more like-minded people about fighting the god of Yan Emperor. WeChat pays attention to you do literature, to read novels, chat about life, and find confidence. 149,104, 70,870,719.